Mr. Irontrader and TGIF are ready. Okay, it's been actually a really good week of trading here. Now remember, next week there's going to be a lot of tech earnings coming out here, so you got to get prepared. Okay, we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, at gold, silver, at crude oil, and at natural gas. We're not going to look at the NQ today because it's pretty much just the same thing. It's pretty much flat, same way with all the indexes as of right now. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, sell, stock, market, ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin looking really, really good here. And look at there, we hit this low today all the way down here at 115,675. So I said, watch the bottom here at 115,635. Okay, so we were trading this box right here. See how we have this low right here? Okay, so we have 116.90. We retested that low with 116,275, made a little bit higher low. We had the sideways action, and then we came off here today. But again, this is where I always say, watch them gaps. Okay, so that's what we have to watch. So at that 115,675, and then that gap was 115,635, so we've held in that gap. Now, if it goes down lower, we want to look to that gap fill at 114,380, and then we want to watch at 114,201. Okay, so always watch these gaps. A lot of times they don't get filled right away, but sometimes they do. But if it doesn't go into the gap, then the gap itself will just stop it. You don't necessarily have to go into that. So obviously it held it, looking very, very nice. And now it looks like we want to try to rally up here. Now, what we're watching here on the upside is watching this 118.68 level, and then we'll come up here to today's high. We had 119.880. Yesterday we had a high of 119.780, so we made just a little bit higher high. Then we just venture onto this area here at 125.40, and we can crawl all the way up here to the 121.165. And then we break out of that, then we're going to hit that 123.615 level. But right now, we still have this sideways action. Just because it came down, we're looking always just to make sure that we hold that gap or the gap fill or that 21-day. That's all very, very good support levels. Okay, that's why I always show you these gaps. It doesn't necessarily have to get into it, but a lot of times that gap itself will just hold that support level like it did today. Okay, that's a perfect example. Now, we're still just trading this box situation, so we can't get too excited. It's looking for some kind of a catalyst to either break up or break down. But again, just watch the bottom of that candle, 115.635. Watch that gap fill, 114.380, and then watch that 114.205. Now, we start losing all that. Then what we do is we come up to the top of that candle at 112.590. We'll look to the bottom of this candle here at 110.880, and then we'll look right here at that 50-day at 109.681. So everything you need to know is just sitting right on this chart, okay? This is why I don't understand why everybody doesn't trade charts. You know, all your big hedge funds, everything, using this exactly same charts that I'm using, okay? Because I got it from a guy who was in a hedge fund, and they all use the same kind of chart. So very, very nice. Now, we look at here, you're looking at, say, 58. That doesn't, that's still very, very strong. It's not overbought or oversold. The green here is trying to go over the red, but we got to see how it's all shake out because you have a couple of red candles. But let's just see what happens today. So upside, watch that 8-day, very, very key level. We want to get right back above it if we can. Now, here we are on the weekly. Now, we got to see. We had that topping tail, so you got to respect it. Top and tail, got to respect it, okay? So right now we have that indecision candle here for the week, and so by Friday, what we really want to do is hold this 112.345, and we want to hold that 8-day 110.784 level. That's going to be very, very key here by the end of today. That's what we're looking for. Now, you can see the RSI here, very, very strong. The green over your red, that shows good momentum to the upside. And look at this chart here on a weekly basis. It's a very, very bullish chart. See? So this is why I always say we always want to respect, look how nice it held that 50-day all the way through. Okay, so a lot of times if you lose the 8-day, then we come to the 21-day. Okay, you lose that 21-day, then we always look to that 50 SMA. Look how nice that beautiful bottom left, upper right that this is holding. So just be a little bit patient with this. That's the key. Be patient. But this right now is just a trader's market. Now, I'm just trading it from the long side. You can do on a short ski too, but right now I'm just trading it there on the long side because I really believe that once we're going to hit that 123.615, you crack above that, your next level is going to be 125.500. Then you can go to 130, 135, and you can venture right on up here by the end of the year. Okay, so BITX, it pays a nice dividend. So I trade it and I also own it long. Okay, let's take a look here at gold and silver. Here we have gold, silver daily chart. Now, gold was doing actually very, very good, but you can see this consolidation period, okay? So as we rallied on up, we got as high as at 34.51. What we're looking for is this 34.76. So it never did quite make it up to that top there. But again, when you look at this chart, it's a very, very bullish chart kind of a situation. Now, a lot of times it doesn't break through on the first kind of a try, but we had this kind of like a breakout here, and then it just, we put a nice series of lower highs and lower low kind of a situation. So now we're right here. We're right below that 8-day. Let me see it, dial it in there for you. 33.77. So that's going to be your resistance on the upside. Then the next level is going to be, if we look to the bottom of that candle at 33.90, and then we looked at yesterday's high, 34.01 level, and then we'll come up top of this candle here at 34.16, and then we have 34.47, then we have your retest of 34.51. We get above that, you got 34.68, and then we have 34.76. Those are all your resistant levels and all your upside targets. Now, on the downside here, you really want to hold this 21 SMA, 33.51, and we want to hold that 33.44 level here on a closing basis, but we have to see how that shakes out. If that is lost, then we'll come to the bottom here. You're looking at 33.26, and then we come down the bottom of this candle here at 33.14. That is going to be your support level. We have 32.90. We have 32.66, and we have your retest there at 32.50, which lines up pretty nicely here with your 100 SMA. But right now we just have this side. It was actually, we got to see how this shakes out. Now, I only trade this on the long side. I'm not really a gold or silver trader, but when we do have the big run-ups like we had here, going up here, then yes, I jump into it, and I jump in with the GLD. So right now, I have absolutely no position. I'm waiting for it to get above this 34.51 and then attack that 34.76 and attack that 35.09 level. But right now, I got no trade going on. All right. RSI, well, you're sitting at 47, as that's pretty much in the middle. You're not overbought, oversold. The green is still above your red here, so this is still a very, very bullish chart. But again, it's going to need a catalyst to go higher. Now, silver, pretty much the same thing going on here. You can see the nice consolidation it had, bull flag, and we're respecting here so far this 8-day. Okay, 38.94, that's what we're watching. It'll come down, we lose that. We're going to come right to the bottom of this candle at 38.36, and then we'll be looking for that 37.83 level, 21-day, which we obviously, I tell you a zillion times, we have to respect because how many times it held it in the past. Now, again, just because it's down just a little bit below that 8-day, that doesn't mean that's where it's going to close, kind of a situation. This one came down below it, where it closed right above it. So it's been holding this 8-day very, very nicely. So that's what you want to respect. If we lose it, then there's your big target. It's going to be your 21-day. Now, on the upside, we want to look to today's high, 39.52. We go to yesterday's high at 39.66, and then we have that 39.91 level. Now, I wanted to point out to this, see how we had this negative divergence back here. We have a high and a lower high. We had a high and a higher high. And what do we do? The same freaking thing. High, okay, lower high, higher high, negative divergence, and then look what happened here. See, negative divergence, what happened here? But again, if we lose that 8-day, just watch that 21-day. Another game, again, I don't have any position in silver. I only take it from a long position, and it was a really nice, good trade on the long side. We have this consolidation, very nice on the SLV. But again, I'm not a gold or silver trader, but I do trade it on the long side when I can see a big run-up coming up, okay, situation. Now, what you want to really watch here today is this 8-day. Okay, that's going to be very, very critical on a closing basis. Let's see if it can hold it. Let's respect it because it held it in the past. If not, we have that nice 21 simple moving average. Now, your RSI here coming down, you're not nowhere near, overbought, oversold here. The green is still over your red, even though it's kind of curling over. So let's just be a little bit patient. Again, silver's going to need a little catalyst to take this bad boy higher, the same way with gold. All right, let's take a look here at crude oil and natural gas. Here we have crude oil. Here we have natural gas. Now, let's just see. Now, remember, the rig count will be out today at 1 p.m. It's not a market mover, but, for me, information is information. Okay, this is a big a bear flag situation going. And then we came all the way in down here. Now, we put this almost like a tweezer bottom in here. But again, you notice that it came down to the 100-day, but it held the 100-day on a closing basis, and that's the key. Now, yesterday and today so far, we're trying to make this higher and go up higher. Now, 21 days is going to become very good, big resistance. You're looking at 66.56. We get above that, we're going to be looking right this area at that 67.54, and then we have the 68.19, That is your 200 SMA. Now we get above that, we have that 69.65. See the price channel right there? All that is just the top of that candle. Very, very nicely. So that's your resistance upside. Now downside, you want to hold that 8-day 66.17, and then your next support level is going to be 65.70, and then we have 65 flat, and then we have your 64.50, but then we have this 64, which is the bottom of that candle in this whole chart situation. So this is going to be very, very key. You don't want to lose that 64. If you do, then it's going to be a nice short ski all the way down. You got 62.50, we have 62.17, 61.06, and then we have 59.74 level. So we have a lot of ways we could fall off the cliff here. If you lose that 64, that's going to be very, very critical. But right now, we just have this like a sideways action is trying to hang on. Now, there are storms that are brewing already here in the Gulf for hurricane season. So this is what you have to understand. If you have any kind of a disruption, I don't care. This is like we had with this war premium situation. He had $9-10 in there. Any kind of disruption will send crude up much higher. No matter what, you blow right through these charts and you can go up higher if you have to have shutdown of these rigs or whatever it is. Even though the market is very well supplied, oil doesn't really trade like that. I mean, it does and it doesn't kind of a situation. Any kind of disruption or a tanker blown up or a war or something, instantly crude right away goes higher. Okay, so always remember that. It's not just one little thing. That's why I like trade crude, because it seems like it's always in play. Now, for me, this is just a trade. I use UCO for the long, SCO for the short. Right now, these are just very, very small kind of a trade situations. This was a really nice, good run up here off that inverse head and shoulders pattern. See how we had left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. And I said, pointed out, it's going to go right to that 200-day, and that's where it went. This is the war premium. One never knows what's going to happen when you have a war. It goes up, but then again, it always comes down once things are settled out. All right, so today what you want to watch is watch that 21-day. We get above that 21-day at that 66.59. Then we're going to go right to that 68.19 level. There's your 200-day, and then we have a big retest up there at 69.65. Downside, we want to hold that 8. 66.17, and then we want to hold that 50-day 65.70, and then we want to go 64.50. But really, is this 64 level is the key to the downside. RSI, we're sitting pretty flat ski. Same way with here. This could go either way, kind of a situation. So these are, to me, just trading right now. Now, natural gas. Well, natural gas here came off. Well, we can see it here. We had that downtrending, and then it rallied up here, put like a tweezer top situation, came all the way down, and then we holding this right here at that 306 level. Now, why did you go to 306? Well, all I got to do is look to the left of the chart here. See, there's that gap thing again. Okay, 305. Held it. Nice. Now, if it start going lower, then it would go into the gap, and it would be looking for 298. Just that simple. Then we look here at the bottom of that candle at 286. But that 305, that held it. So a lot of times, that's why I always point out these gaps. A lot of times it'll come down and hold that gap. But once it starts going in, then it'll fill that gap. So then that's the next stop. Then we can look at the bottom of the candle. So, pretty simple. Pretty simple. I always try to keep the trading as simple as possible. You don't need all these complicated things. Yeah, maybe they work for a while, but believe me, I've been doing this for over 2 decades. Okay, and I've tried every system possible. This is it. This is the easiest way to trade, easiest way to make money. Keep it simple, okay? Simple moving average, your 8-day, 21-day, your green is your 50-day, we have your 100-day, and we have your 200-day. Very, very simple. Volume, always want to put volume. RSI, because you can get those divergences going. Plus, you can have the relative strength, and then MACD always shows where the momentum's going to the upside or to the downside situation. So this is really all you need. And these blue lines are nice. They're just price channels, which work out very nice like this. Okay, so you see, if I get above that 200-day, where's it going to go? 69.65. Well, what is that? Well, all it is just the top of that candle. Okay, that's it. Okay, keep it very, very simple. That's how you make money. Now, again, if you like complicated things, that's fine. Anything that whatever works for you. It's just like I use price channels. Some people use Bollinger Bands. They use clouds. They're just nowhere near as accurate as just tops, okay, and bottoms of candles. Okay, just that simple. Now, what we're looking here for on the upside is today we had this high of 3.13. We're going to look at yesterday's high at 3.16, and then we'll come up to the bottom of this candle, looking at 3.21. We'll come to the top of it here. You're looking at 3.26, and then when we start looking right for that 8-day at 3.31, you have your 21-day at 3.39, and then we have your 200-day at 3.45, and then we have 3.48 your 50-day, and then we have Hondo up here, the 100-day at 3.16. Now, when you see these patterns, see that we have this double top situation, that's always, unless you close back above that top of that candle, it's always going to really come right on down, okay? Big percentages, probably 90%, that is going to come out when you see these topping tails. All right, so always, always, always watch out for these chart patterns. Then when you see this series of lower highs and lower lows, yeah, you can get trades back up. But a lot of times, look at where it is. It went right into the 8-day, above the 8-day, but closed below it. See how it is? Right above, until you get back above. Then when you see candles like this, that's like a tweezer top situation, okay? Just like a little pair of tweezers. And then when you see that, that's usually going to come right on down. Now, if you want to look about chart patterns, go on my playlist. Chart patterns are right there. Very, very easy to look up. Look at the candlestick patterns. Anything that give you an edge. And believe me, I look at my own stuff here every week also, just to keep up to date and keep refreshed. So today, what we want to watch on the downside, just watch that 3005 level. That's going to be very key. If we lose that, you can go to 298. Then we can go down to 286. On the upside, we just follow these candles up. Watch yesterday's high at that 3.16. If we can start rallying, this could be a nice trade all the way to that 8-day at 3.31. Okay, that's what we're looking for. So UNG, I trade for the long, KLD for the short. There's many ways to trade natural gas, many ways to trade crude. That's just how I do it. Keep it very simple with the ETFs. Okay, RSI, well, you're sitting at 38. You got plenty of room. Okay, the green is below the red because obviously we have a big downtrend. But again, natty gas is going to need some kind of a catalyst to take this bad boy up because you are below every simple moving average, 8, 21, 200-day, 50-day, and 100-day. So you need a catalyst to blast it back up. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here at midday trading. We'll take a look here at some stocks. Tesla looks like it just can't handle anything here. 304. Remember now, NVIDIA is looking very, very strong. Any kind of a pullback is a buying opportunity. Their earnings aren't coming out until August 27th. But again, we got Microsoft coming up here. We have Meta coming up. We have Amazon coming up. We have Apple coming up. There's a lot of stuff. Now, Google had really good numbers. I like the tech trade because I think the AI is the future, and I think a lot of that is underrated. So again, you trade however you want to trade. But that's what I think is to trade. But just remember, we are at nosebleed levels on all these charts. Okay, so if you look at the Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq, so again, you are going to get a correction here. Not maybe today, maybe not tomorrow, but always watch that end of August, September, October period. That there's like about 6 weeks there. That is very, very not good for the market. So always, always remember that. Use stops. Always, always use stops. That's going to be the key. All right, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.